After 8 matches played by the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Nigeria sits second behind South Africa with 11 points, hoping that Lesotho will beat Benin Republic to keep hopes alive. Trent, do you think that is possible?
Well, I think I should be on my knees now and begging Benin Republic to lose against Lesotho. Not even begging Benin Republic to lose against Lesotho. I'm begging Lesotho to win Benin Republic because I think that's where the reality will come in. But if Lesotho can at least draw against Benin Republic, I think the hope of the Super Eagles of Nigeria still qualifying to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, I think the hope will still be there because if you look at the standings now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria occupy the second place with 11 points and Benin Republic to the third place with 11 points. So a draw for Benin Republic, that will give them just 1 point, making it 12 points, and will occupy the second place. And let's not forget that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will have to play Benin Republic at home at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. So I think if Lesotho can do justice to Benin Republic later this evening, I think that will give us big hopes. And I just hope that, I just want them to draw because I think I should be on my knees right now begging Lesotho to draw or win against Benin Republic.
Well, Trent, we saw all those we wanted to see in the pitch of play. We saw Tolu, we saw Desers, and it didn't really turn out the way we expected. And of course, Truth Ekong happened to us. What do you think was wrong with the defense line of the Super Eagles?
I think nothing was wrong with the defense line of the Super Eagles until the captain scored an own goal. You know, all these things happen in football. You cannot dispute the fact that this young man has been one of the best players of the Super Eagles of Nigeria over the years, even in the last AFCON. So he showed himself out there in the continent of Africa, even in the world too. So I think the Truth Ekong scoring an own goal, that's not the end of football. I thank goodness that a defender to restored parity in that very encounter. So I would always say that own goal is always a part of football, but at the end of the day, you just have to give kudos to the rest of the defenders. Calvin Bassey, you have to give kudos to Bright Osayi-Samuel, who came in after Olaina got injured, and this young man Benjamin Fredericks, just 20 years old, and he's doing something that so many people thought that it would be very impossible to do. So I'm really happy for Benjamin Fredericks, and I just hope to see him on the international stage later with the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Well, with Benjamin Fredericks, we think we've gotten a centre-back replacement for Truth Ekong. Now, can we have a replacement right there in the center of the park, the midfield?
Well, when you talk about the replacement in the center of the park, who is in the midfield? Because I said this before in our last episode that the Super Eagles, the midfield of the Super Eagles of Nigeria lacks some creativity, lacks so many people that can put in those defense splitting passes to the attackers and the strikers. So let's not even start talking about the midfield now. Let's still stick with the defense and look forward to who is going to replace the likes of Victor Osimhen, because he's aging, and at the end of the day, he will still say goodbye to national football.
Well, Victor Osimhen, your chance to qualify and play in the World Cup. He has never played in the World Cup, even with all this success.
And his chance of playing in the World Cup are in the hands of his teammates, Tola Rokodare and Sivu Desas. So I think everyone should be praying for Tola Rokodare and Sivu Desas. Nothing should happen to them come the next international break. And we just hope that Victor Osimhen with Galatasaray he will get fit and come back to the national team. That's what I really want from Victor Osimhen.
Well, one man, Calvin Bassey, he was all over the place, making sure that Nigeria did not lose at the end of the day. Calvin Bassey had a chance, and some people call it a hand of God goal. And what do you think about that? Well, a lot of persons say that was a clear handball.
Diego Armando Maradona reincarnated. That's what it's called. And I'm really happy for Calvin Bassey. Whatever CAF want to say, they should say it. Whatever South Africans want to say, they should say it. It was a ball to hand. The ball touched his head before it touched his hand. So that's not even an hand of God, because we know what hand of God means, looks like. Just if you want to watch hand of God, just check. You see Maradona and you are going to see hand of God. I think that's a clear goal, and we should all give kudos to him. He was doing very well in the defense line, and I think the attackers and the strikers, they forgot their primary duty to score goals, and Calvin Bassey helped them to do that. So kudos to Calvin Bassey, man of the match for me.
At the end of the day, South Africa 1-1. They didn't score any goal, but they were able to get 1 point, 1 goal for this match. Trent, there were some points there, there were some controversial moments right there in that game where some persons feel the referee did some wrong calls. What's your take on that?
The referee did some wrong calls, but thank goodness that the game is done and dusted, and both teams shared points. And I'm sure that the referee is under pressure because of, I think that's a high profile match, South Africa against Nigeria. in South Africa, and we know who South Africa are when you talk about African football, the people at the helms of affair too and all of that. So I think the referee was under high pressure. That was why he was making some silly calls and all of that. But thank goodness that it did not affect the Super Eagles of Nigeria badly, but at some point it affected the Super Eagles of Nigeria because there was some point that this young man, Ademola Lookman, had a chance to put a ball at the back of the net, but the referee blew his whistle and said that's a foul, but it wasn't. And some silly mistakes, silly calls too, that some players brought down and it did not give a foul and all of that. So I think it was a fair game for me, and I just hope that in recent times, in continuous times, let the coaches, the referees, do some justice to their calls on the pitch of play.
Well, to some fans of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, it wasn't just about qualifying for the World Cup. It's about the bragging right. They just wanted Super Eagles to win the Bafana Bafana of South Africa.
Well, it was a fight between Amapiano and Afrobeat, so I understand that. So that's what happens. I understand that rivalry is still there, and I'm really happy that that's what we want to see in African football. That's what the world want to see in Nigerian football. We don't just want to see that, okay, yeah, South Africa on the continent, we should support them because of that, because of this and that. No, that's how rivalry is part of football, and I'm happy that it's happening in my generation.
Okay, now, what do you think the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Coach Eric Shell, should do in the next game coming? Because we've seen the outcome of this match. We saw the one they played last Saturday and this one now. What do you think they can improve upon to actually get the results for the Super Eagles of Nigeria?
Well, I wanted to talk about the midfield because in the first 30 minutes, it was as if Dele Bashiru was not in the game until at the end of the day, he popped up and provided an assist that Calvin Bassey scored from. So I think the midfield was not the midfield we used to know. Wilfred Ndidi, he was there, but Alex Iwobi was at least a little bit ghosted today than what we saw in the last match at the Godsluck Babbeh International Stadium. So the midfield was not up there, but thank goodness the assist came from the midfield. And I just want to see him start a good right wing forward. Chukwueze, when he came into the game, he changed the tempo of the game. There was a glimpse of Nigeria taking the lead again. So I think I want to see him in the next match starting Chukwueze in the right wing forward, and he should just play one striker. He should start Tola Rokodare because I think Cyril Desert is a player that can come from the bench. Tola Rokodare should start the match because we need that driving force. We need that edge to edge, box to box, trying to create chances and scoring goals too. So that was what Cyril Desert failed to do today. But when Tola Rokodare came, you saw some glimpse of hope, some glimpse of chances from him. So for me, I think what Erise Ochel is supposed to do is that he's supposed to try and start Tola Rokodare, start Victor Ademola Lookman, and try to bench Moses Simon and Ademola. One of them should just start the game. Both of them cannot start the game. That's what I feel for Coach Erise Ochel. But thank goodness, he's still a good coach. He has not lost a single game with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's not forget that. And he took a point away from home against South Africa. So kudos to Erise Ochel.
Kudos to Eric Shell right there. One thing we cannot cease to talk about is the pitch, the state of the pitch right there. It was poor. Definitely, Trent. That was a poor pitch. I mean, this is the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The whole squad, they play week in, week out there in Europe and all parts of the world in good pitches. Now they decided. What is some persons say is a strategy by the South Africans to actually, make the
like that. I see. This pitch has made me come to realize that if other stadiums in Nigeria can have good facilities, not the pitch, they can play CAF football. They can play CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup, because I think the only reason why so many stadiums are not being approved to play CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup in Africa is because of their stadiums. It's not because of the pitch. Because if you want to look at the pitch the Super Eagles of Nigeria played against with South Africa today, you see that the Umuahia Township Stadium is a little bit better than that pitch. No, let's call it spade a spade, because that's what happened. So many stadiums in Nigeria is better than that pitch. I wonder why the ball was not rolling well. The ball would just bounce and misdirection and all of that. I don't know if it was an accident. It was just, I think, strategy to win the game against Nigeria today. But I thank God that did not happen. So South Africa, try again next time.
Well, Super Eagles of Nigeria, congratulations, I would say. Let's see how we can do better next time. Trent, let's go see what Lesotho are going to do to Benin Republic.
Lesotho, please. We'll be there, inshallah.
All right, if you're just seeing this for the first time, this is the Locker Room Central. Join us. Follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We see you. We see what you're doing. We love you.